beware. Beware. This is a warning. The Grim Reaper of radio, Bob Romanek, with his off-the-record show is about to air. He's probably the nastiest and craziest son of a bitch that you've ever had the misfortune to encounter. The Grim Reaper show will be very controversial and probably quite tasteless. If you are even slightly offended by controversial matter concerning religion, racial matters, politics, or life's problems, you are hereby warned to turn this program off immediately. The Grim Reaper show will be, like his face, very scary and very ugly. At this time, not proudly, but shamefully presents to you Bob Romanek, the craziest son of a bitch on the radio today.
This is Bob Romanek, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, Insane Broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, Radical Radio. And we are, as always, proud, very proud to be the Patriot. Good Friday morning. We're going to start off. I'm going to take care of our community service work, and then we're going to go wherever you people want to go. As always, we are America's voice of freedom. Definitely the Patriot. You can call toll free anytime. 1-888-394-1430. On the east side, 394-1190. Don't be afraid. I'm not going to jump your ass. I'll give you all the time you want to say what you want. Then I may jump your ass, but it's not like I'm going to come out and take a gun. So I've had people say, Bob, I'm afraid to call you, jump my ass. Well, jump my ass back. That's what America's about. Freedom of speech doesn't mean we can't piss people off. I mean, I hear people say crap all the time that I don't like. It pisses me off. But I agree they have the right to say it. If you say something and it pisses somebody off, I think what you've done, you have shown that you have the right and the privilege to say what you want, and then let the son of a bitch come after you and say what he wants. You can't have freedom of speech if your speech really isn't free. Hey, An Evening with Johnny Cash, starring Bill Furness. That'll be tomorrow night. Tomorrow night at the Bullpen Bar and Grill in New Athens, Illinois. He's going to have a CD release. It's going to be a great time. Radio station will be there. If you're looking for tickets, you can call 314-329-8383. The doors open at 6. Show starts at 7. Hope to see everybody there tomorrow night in the great little town of New Athens, Illinois. Trivia night, November the 14th. Hayden's Hope. They're hosting a trivia night, fundraising trivia night at Harner Park Hall in Lebanon. That'll be Saturday at 6:30. Going to be games, raffles. This is for equipment for Hayden Ann, a 2.5-year-old lady from Lebanon that was born with 30% brain capacity. She's blind and has cerebral palsy. But it says here she's an excellent giggler and cuddler. So people, I've told you before, you ain't got no problem. You got no problem. You get up every damn morning. You can walk. You can talk. You can breathe. You're around your family, and you want to bitch about something? Are you nuts? Are you people nuts? Get off your ass and do something positive for you, your community, your country. Anyway, tables will be $150, individuals $25. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can call Anna at 618-558-1099 or Jessica at 618-363-4117. And ladies, if you will, give me a call. If you don't call me in time, I'd still like to donate $150 for a table. But if you call me, I'll make sure I run you out a check, and you can have a table for 8 for somebody that can't afford it. I won't be able to make it, but I'd like to contribute, and I hope everybody else does. November the 14th, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. St. John's in Summerfields, their pancake breakfast, all you can eat, adults $7, children $4. That'll be November the 14th. That's Sunday, I guess, from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. at St. John's in Summerfield. Let's see what we have here. Relay for Life, raising money for the American Cancer Society. They're having a vendors quarter auction this Friday, tonight, to raise money for the American Cancer Society. They have 20 vendors coming. The event is November the 13th, tonight, at the Muscuda Moose Lodge. Doors open at 6 o'clock p.m. Auction starts at 7. If you have any questions or concerns, you can call Robin Yarber at 618-779-2603. Polish American War Vets, their annual turkey shoot. This Sunday, November the 15th, from noon till dusk, I believe. They're going to have cash drawings, going to have free ham and bean soup, $2 long necks. It'll be held at the Polish American War Vets headquarters, 2180 North 81st Street in Caseyville, Illinois. Any questions or concerns, you can call the good people at 618-398-5040. The American Legion Post 1937 first annual holiday meat raffle will be held November the 15th at TR's Place, 4901 Concordia Church Road. Have meat packages, 50-50 drawings, attendance card, gift cards. If you have any questions or concerns, you can call Commander Jim Farbus at 618-409-1212. St. Clair County Lodge number 24, Wirtz Mart and Country Store, this Sunday, November the 15th. Serving the buffet style from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's given by the Masonic Organizations of the Temple. It'll be held at 225 East A Street in Belleville, Illinois. The Staunton, Illinois Sportsman's Club will hold their meat shoot on their grounds November the 15th, starting at 1 o'clock p.m. Proceeds go to their conservation and outdoor sports programs. For further information and directions, contact Bozo at 618-635-8337 or 618-315-5061. Don't forget, you can pick me up on iTunes. Type in Bob Romanek and or the Grim Reaper of Radio. Go to our streaming site, insanebroadcasting.com, one word, common spelling. Please like us on Facebook at KQQZ 1190 AM or our sister station, KZQZ 1430 AM. You can hear my repeat performance every day at 4 o'clock p.m. And also now, broadcasting from the graveyard to the graveyard shift every night, Monday through Friday at the stroke of midnight. I've got one more here. The 5th Division of the American Legion, they're sponsoring a fundraiser benefit for Gifts to the Yanks. It's going to be held in McAllister's Deli on Greenmount Crossing in Shiloh on Sunday, November the 15th from 5 to 8 p.m. The proceeds will benefit the veterans at Jefferson Barracks, John Cochran, and other facilities and veterans areas. They go to the nursing homes. They take this money and they have buy Christmas gifts for all the veterans, I guess, that don't have any family in the area. So your help and donation will be greatly appreciated. You can call Dutch at 618-654-3867. Hey, listen, I got to say this. Joanne Reed, what a skank. I mean, what a skank you are. They had a fundraiser last night for Curtis McCall. She's got a sign saying, let's merge Allerton and Centerville. Well, I believe that, Joanne. You've screwed up Allerton. You were the mayor. You got fired. You got arrested. I think what's happening with you, Joanne Reed, I think that wig of yours, that $2 wig, is just a little bit too tight. I think it's cutting off the circulation to that little pea brain of yours. But for you, Curtis McCall, what an idiot you are. You want to take over Allerton? You want to take over everything. If you take over Allerton like you took over Cahokia, they'll be bankrupt in 6 months. But, you know, Curtis McCall makes it a black-white thing. He always makes it a black-white thing. And he'll take care of 20, 30 blacks. He'll make jobs in Cahokia that Cahokia can't afford. And 6 months down the road, they'll be like East St. Louis. They'll be laying off policemen, laying off firemen. But Curtis McCall wants to merge Allerton. You good people in Allerton, I guess Curtis McCall thinks you're a bunch of idiots and you can't run your town. You know what his ignorant son did? They just annexed. Now listen to me, people in Cahokia. They just annexed Parkfield Terrace. Parkfield Terrace is probably the worst area, the most crime-ridden area in St. Clair County. Deputy sheriffs won't go down through there unless there's 2 or 3, and I don't blame them because it's very dangerous. But Curtis McCall Jr. and Sr., because, see, Curtis McCall Jr. don't make a move without Curtis McCall Sr. telling him what to do because the kid ain't that smart. I mean, I think one day he couldn't get a hold of his dad, and he went out and didn't wipe his ass, and he had crap hanging out of his ass because he's not that smart. But they're dumb enough. Listen, people at Cahokia, both black and white. Now, when you need a policeman, they're going to be tied up in what used to be St. Clair County going into Centerville. You're not going to get police protection for you and your family. They're going to be there constantly. There's no money generated out of Parkfield Terrace. There's no money at all. All there is crime. But see, Curtis can see votes there. Curtis can see votes. And Curtis McCall, what an egregious bastard you are. What a piece of political crap you are. You've promised 500 people jobs, and you couldn't have filled 20 unless you take money you don't have, money the city of Cahokia, the village of Cahokia doesn't have, and it's going to come back to bite you. It may take a month or 2 or 3 or 4, but you can't give the old okey-doke. But again, Joanne Reed, what a complete idiot. You know, she took her credit, was accused of taking the Allerton credit. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why you want to merge Allerton and Centerville. You took the credit card from Allerton and spent all the money on meats and groceries for you and your family. I remember reading that in the paper, Joanne Reed. Got accused of taking the Allerton credit card and going to the restaurants and buying food for you and your family. Where the hell do you think you are, Joanne Reed? You've been suspended from the sheriff's department 4 or 5 times. The sheriff used to tell me, I wish the hell she'd quit screwing up. But now you're out there in Cahokia, and people of Cahokia, you see how they recycle these son of a bitches? They recycle. Joanne Reed's had jobs all over the place. Of course, she's got to pay for that expensive wig she doesn't buy. Having said that, I got Mayor Carl Officer with me, good friend of mine, Greg Musgraves, just stopped in, but I gotta address this before we get any further. Mother gets 15 years in death of newborn baby. 15 years my ass. And it says here, she was also convicted of trying to kill her newborn daughter, born in a toilet in 2008. And you know, I love children, I love animals. I ain't much for people. Don't give a damn much about people. We can protect ourselves. But we're put here to protect our furry friends and our children. This bitch, and I told people I wouldn't use the word bitch, but sometimes I just got to. And I want to apologize to the bitches. Because the bitches, this no good piece of crap, this less than a human being son of a bitch. And what's her name? I got Elise Mamino is either a monster, it says here, or a person who has mentally gone array. Well, I don't give a damn what. She gets 15 years in prison for killing her newborn boy who was mummified. 12 years. 12 years. Says the baby wasn't laid to rest in his Sunday best. The defendant laid to rest in a towel wrapped in a plastic shopping bag. What are you talking about? Said the baby wasn't laid to rest in a silk-lined coffin with a teddy bear. The defendant laid to rest in a dresser drawer in a Belleville basement. And they give this son of a bitch 15 years? John O'Gara, great attorney, asked for 12 years, arguing the longer sentence would punish Mamino for her mental illness. Hey, if she's mentally ill, get the bitch off the street forever. And let me tell you what, Mr. O'Gara, and I know you're a decent guy. That'd have been your son. That'd have been your daughter. It wouldn't have been 15 years. You'd have wanted life. It'd have been my son or daughter. She wouldn't have got life. I'd have killed the bitch. But people, do you understand? Children can't take care of themselves. And there's some bad people out there. I'm a no good son of a bitch, but I ain't a bad guy. But for this no count, low life, less than a human being piece of crap. And it says her attorney, John O'Gara, and again, he's a great attorney fighting for his client. O'Gara said the crew that told the judge that Mamino was a model prisoner and helped other prisoners in the guard. She's a caring, nurturing person, O'Gara said. Are you crazy, John O'Gara? Are you nuts? A nurturing person when she's got her son mummified in the basement in a drawer. You know, I just lost my son. Nothing worse. This ignorant, no-count bitch, she's going to do that to a helpless, defenseless child. Then she's going to get 12 years. What's wrong with this country? Give the son of a bitch life. Give her life. I cut off her head. And I'm not being funny, people. You understand what this gal did, and she gets 12 years? There's guys that smoke marijuana. I arrested guys, put guys in jail when I was a policeman, and they got 8 or 10 years. This no good, less than human piece of crap tried to drown her daughter in 2008 in a toilet. Found her mummified newborn son in the basement. And Judge Azina Cruz, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. See, that's what happens. These people get good attorneys. The attorneys know the judges. The fix is in. 12 years. 12 years, people. I told you, I'm running for state rep. And if somebody hurts a child, don't kill a child, just hurt a child. Or hurts an animal, it's life. It'd be life. Because those son of a bitches are going to go out and hurt somebody else and kill somebody else. But you see our judicial system. Then we have judges. Barisivic, the chief judge, he's going to circumvent the state constitution, going to run for election instead of retention. They don't give a damn, people. We have to give a damn. And I'm telling everybody, not just in St. Clair County, throughout this great state, this great country, you better get off your ass in 2016. They tell me in Belleville last year, 16% of the people voted. Now, 16%. So say it's 9 and 7 is 16. The mayor candidate got 9%, say. The loser got 7. That's the 16 total percent. 9% of the people put somebody in. 91% of the people didn't vote for this son of a bitch, but he's the mayor of Belleville. That's because you people are so apathetic. And I know why you're apathetic. You're apathetic because these bastard politicians beat you up and beat you up and beat you up. You don't want to go out. It doesn't make any difference. I've heard it 1,000 times. 2016 is going to make a difference. If we get the people to come out and vote, not just in St. Clair County, throughout this great country, we can get rid of these bastards that are in office. Let's put new guys in. And if the new guys become bastards, let's get rid of those bastards and put new guys in. And if those guys get bad and become bastards, get rid of them. You don't have a son of a bitch like Madigan, the House Speaker. And Madigan, I'm calling you out. And if I get elected, you ain't seen nothing yet. Been there 35 years, hasn't done nothing for anybody but for the people of Chicago. People below the Springfield line get nothing. Get nothing from them son of a bitches. I tell you, just pisses me off. Really pisses me off. Mayor, you know, you're a funeral home director, and I know you've seen a lot of egregious acts in your time. And I'm not being melodramatic. I'm just one piss son of a bitch. How the hell, and I know I can't ask you because you love your daughter. You'd kill for your daughter. You'd protect your daughter at any cost. How the hell do you think people can be this way, can come up this way, and can do things like that?
Well, you know, the thing that really probably disturbs me besides the obvious is what happens 15 years from now when she gets out. She still has the opportunity and the potential of having more children. And I don't believe that the courts are addressing the fundamental problem. Do you remember when you were in East St. Louis police officer and there were 13 children died in the fire in East St. Louis?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I remember doing that funeral with my dad. All those 13 little caskets lined up at the cemetery. That lady had 3 more children after that. That state of Illinois allowed her to have 3 more children. She was mentally deficient. Needless to say, this lady here is mentally deficient. I had a case not long ago in Belleville where a lady killed her 2 children and put them to sleep. Dressed them really nice and sweet and neat. Killed them right there in the apartment. Made them to put them in bed. And when I got the call from the coroner's office, I had to go and pick them up. Just insanity. We do not address the mental health of people who are beyond just normally sick. and I'm not a healthcare professional, certainly a mental health care professional. I know enough crazy people every day, but this is beyond crazy to me. I don't know how you can put, whether it's 5 years, 15 years, 13 years. I don't understand how the courts do that. But as I said, my question goes beyond what happens 15 years from now if she attempts, when she's released from prison for good behavior, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 years from now, she still has to have more children.
Yeah.
I've seen this happen before here in St. Clair County, and I've seen them have more children, and I've seen the new children be exposed to danger. And what's even more egregious, Bob, if you read that whole article, they said this lady was a babysitter. Before they found her the attempted murder of her first daughter and the murder of her son, she was still taking care of other people's babies. What kind of screening do we do? Yeah, I'm looking forward to you going to Springfield because I like to see some common sense in the legislature.
Listen to this. She said she endured and loved the children. Her attorney O'Gara said she did it out of love. November 2008, Namino, this skanky, no count, good for nothing, low life piece of crap, and I want to apologize to the pieces of crap that aren't as bad as her. Tried to drown her newborn daughter in a toilet while attending a family party in Columbia. The baby, later named Victoria, was fished out of the toilet by the Columbia police officer who responded to the 911 call. The officer saw the baby moving and began resuscitation efforts. Those resuscitation efforts were successful. Now you tell me this gal should be in a mental institution forever. I don't give a damn. People can say she is mentally ill, but I'd rather have her mentally ill in an institution than have to flush out and fish out babies out of toilets.
And that's my whole point. Because see, what I fear is that they're going to come back by 8 years, 9 years, 10 years now with good behavior, because they already said she was a model prisoner in the jail. And so they'll let her, so she's going to have some other babies. And then you know what they're going to use the argument? They're going to say, well, we've got her medicated. Drugs may have been the problem that started her. Drugs may not have had anything to do with it. But at the end of the day, you can't dope common sense into people, and you can't keep putting narcotics into them of any type, because the moment she misses that one treatment, what happens to the next child?
Yeah, I agree.
What happens to the next child?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'd like to moderate. I'd like to take this. Well, I don't know. Let's take.
Another thing is, and another reason. This is going to sound like I'm being self-serving. I am. That's another reason why I'm looking forward to you going to Springfield, because I'm looking. If there's no common sense in the laws that we're passing, there's no common sense on the treatment that we're doing for people who are ill. And you know there's no common sense. When I woke up this morning and watching the news, they're going to shut the lights off at the Illinois State Police headquarters and the Illinois Department of Transportation in Collinsville because we can't pay the light bill.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Who's crazy where? What idiots are really running the asylum? The state of Illinois can't pay the light bill, so the state police will be in the dark. No computers.
Yeah. It's
no nothing.
It's a shame. It's a shame with these political bastards, but people.
Who's going to transport this one to prison?
Yeah, we talk about this, and I get a little crazy. Carl gets a little crazy at times, but this is a serious situation. Politics are good if they're good for the people, but these people in St. Clair County, these people, Madigan and Springfield in Chicago, it's gotten worse and gotten worse, and it's never, ever going to get better until we all unite and say, hey, our vote will count this time. Because if we don't do it now, 2016 people, I'm telling you, if these bastards remain in control after 2016, it's going to be scary for everybody. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. Talk a little more politics. I've got our good friend from Monroe County. I guess he come up on his horse because do they have cars down in Monroe County, Greg?
We just now got indoor plumbing.
Okay, I thought so, yeah. Well, start using it because you need a shower. Hey, we'll be back right after this break. This is Bob Romanek. The Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane broadcasting at its finest. America's bi-state voice of freedom. Radical Radio. And we are, as always, proud, very proud to be the Patriot.
From KQQZ 1190 AM, St. Louis, Missouri, USA, you're listening to Bob Romanek, the Grim Reaper of radio.
This is Bob Romanek, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, your guardian of the First Amendment, Radical Radio. And we are, as always, very proud to be the Patriot. With me, Carl Officer, co-chair of the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition, and my good friend from many years back, an ex-Centerville police officer, great police officer, Greg Musgraves. And both you guys want to address this, and it's a morbid situation. The St. Clair County coroner, they're sued over leaving body parts. And you guys have heard me. Rick Stone has been there 33 years. We finally forced him to retire. And I know he's not in the best of health. And I have to say this, Rick, I wish you the best of health. I really do. I hope you live to be 100. And we're going to pay your pension all that time. But you're just incompetent. You and the rest of those thugs, and that's what they are, and that's what you are, a political thug from St. Clair County. But now we, the taxpayers, are being sued because you guys left body parts. And I like what Rick says. Rick said that there were third and fourth degree burns, and they were hit by high-pressure water hoses used to extinguish the fire before they were taken out of the truck. The conditions of the bodies made it difficult to tell if something was missing, Stone said at the time. Well, you guys are trained, Rick Stone, the coroner. Those people, the family members that had to go out and find those body parts, they weren't trained, but they found those body parts real quick. You know, and it's a shame. You made a mistake, Rick. You politicians make mistakes every day. You never want to own up to them. But Greg, you were a policeman a long time in Centerville, and I know you worked close with the coroner's office. Would you and you were a commander down in Centerville, would you ever let anything like this happen on your watch?
It actually happened to me. I had a...
Well, then you're as big as idiot as Rick Stone. If you let body part, you're telling me you let body...
No, it's not as simple as that. Well, and I don't know in this circumstance because they found the hands, I believe, down the road. So, I mean... Well,
you're not supposed to canvass the whole area?
And
when you got to go get donuts, a policeman in the garner got to go get donuts at the coffee shop, ain't got time to look for body parts. If it was my family, if it was your family, if anybody else's family, we'd want that area scarred for a day, a week, a month.
Oh, there's been numerous instances over the years where they find somebody ejected from a car a week later or 2 weeks later that, you know, one guy I know got trapped up under a wheel well, and they didn't find him until he got towed in.
Doesn't make it right.
But I'm not saying it does.
Okay.
But in the case I worked on, it was an abandoned car fire, and we took a look. We didn't see anybody in the vehicle. The fire department didn't see anybody in the vehicle. Missing person case, we couldn't find the individual, and they got ready to junk the car and looked down on the floorboard up under the brakes, under the brake pedal, and found what they thought was a couple small pencils. And we got called, we got looking at it, and we're like, uh-oh, rib bone.
Well, wait a minute.
And that's what it was. And she had burned in the car, and it had been so hot, she'd been so incinerated. Normally you get a skull or whatever, but you didn't in this case.
Oh, no. Hey, Mayor, now come on. And Greg's my good buddy. I got to get you involved. Have you ever seen a car fire that burns hot enough to disintegrate the bones in the skull? Now, come on, be honest.
No, I haven't. But at the same point in time, let me tell you.
Well, wait a minute. It couldn't happen in a car, yes or no? That shows incompetence.
Not a regular car fire, not with regular gasoline.
Okay.
If it had been maybe with jet fuel, and that had happened from maybe a tanker truck that was transporting aviation fuel, like Scott Air Force Base or down in the parks, possibility. I've seen deaths and burns from aviation fuel from plane crashes before. But what bothers me about this situation is there's two things. This one says, according to the lawsuit, says that a missing part of a hand. What is that? Fingers? Is that the palm? What is it? I can see that being overlooked. What I cannot see being overlooked is the skull. I mean, if I'm called out to a scene and I've got a torso and I've got 2 legs, I've got 2 arms, it seems kind of natural to me. I'm going to be looking for the head.
There you go. Yeah.
Now, that to me, I find really disturbing
and unprofessional.
Well, I'm not going there, but I'm just going to go for the family to go back looking for the wallet, going back looking for the cell phone, and the family's looking for a wallet and cell phone, and they find their loved one's skull. That could be damning. That could be damaging. The hand part, I don't know, because it doesn't describe in the lawsuit here what part of the hand that could be or anything. You might possibly overlook that, but I'd be doggone in my whole 40-some years as being a licensed embalmer, and I used to be a deputy coroner. I don't know how you go out and you pronounce somebody dead, and you can find 2 arms, 2 legs, a torso, but no head.
Yeah,
I'm still looking for that head.
Well, here's my take. I don't give a damn if it was their family member. They would have took a fine-tooth comb, and if it was their family member and they got the services that was needed, that's somebody's family member laying there in that car. Yeah. They deserve to have the same same service, and it pisses me off. Yeah. And Mayor, I hope when you're elected coroner, we've got coroners in the past that they had to call out of the taverns. I hope you give them.
They won't have that problem with me.
I hope they get the proper training, because there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than somebody's family member dying. I remember, and I won't mention the name, the photographer from the county, from the coroner's office. He died. They got into all of his stuff. They were looking through his stuff. They had pictures of dead bodies with ladies' legs spread. See, they didn't put that crap out. No. With the ladies' legs spread. Yeah. Pictures of the breast. Now, if that was my family member, I'd have went over there and shot the son of a bitch in the head. But see, that's what you get when you get politicians instead of public servants. Public servants want to do for everybody. They want to treat people with respect. These politicians, Rick Stone and the rest of these son of a bitches up in St. Clair County, give a damn less about us.
You have to be respectful of everyone's loved ones, regardless of what your political background and persuasion. But the other thing that bothers me on a different side of this, Bob and Greg, 2 things. One, they filed this in Madison County. You think they know something we don't know? They filed this lawsuit in Madison County,
right,
not in St. Clair County. The other thing is that the taxpayers of St. Clair County are being asked to pay $50,000. How do you come up with that number for locating someone, part of a hand, in a skull?
Well, that's just standard practice. It's always $50,000 plus, so that's just standard.
Oh, is that a standard fee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they file it as $50,000, but it's $50,000 is the minimum, and then that's the starting place. And then the jury's free to award whatever. But let me say,
and plus the legal fees, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, always. Which usually is more than whatever anything else is. Oh, yeah. Lawyers got to protect themselves. But let me say this.
I'm surprised they didn't sell this thing out of court.
Yeah, really. We got sued over the incident that I was involved in, and the court put no standing on it. They dismissed it out. So, I mean, how do you they want to sue for pain and suffering, and that's a deal. It's hard to prove that, because you don't know. You weren't there. Yeah. You're not the individual. Yeah. But to get back to this thing about the skull, there was no skull in the car. So all I know is that, and I've worked many a fire where we've had bodies, and I could never figure out where that skull went. So we treated it as a homicide, but the case just never went anywhere. We never had a starting point with it.
Mary, see here in the paper, it says that the accident was on Interstate 255 near Collinsville Road. But I guess since the
St. Clair
Madison.
County.
Yeah, I know. Since it's St. Clair County coroner, I don't know how the hell they get standing in Madison County. But hey, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and talk. Let's get on the lighter side because I'm pissed off and I don't want to talk about this crap anymore. We'll get with Greg Musgraves and talk about Monroe County politics. That's probably just as scary as what we've just been talking about, huh?
Yeah, they can be, believe me.
Okay.
They can be.
We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. This is Bob Romanek. The Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, Insane Broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, Radical Radio, and we are very proud to be the Patriot.
From KQQZ 1190 AM, St. Louis, Missouri, USA, you're listening to Bob Romanek, the Grim Reaper of radio.
This is Bob Romanek, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, Insane Broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, Radical Radio. And we are, as always, as you know, we are very, very proud to be the Patriot. With me today, our good friend, our always welcome to have the co-chairman of the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition, Mayor Carl Officer, and with me, Greg Musgraves, a good friend of mine. We can sit and argue, but at the end of the day, he is a great guy. He was a great police officer, served in the military to protect us, and I want to salute him for that. And Greg, you're from Monroe County. You moved down to Monroe County some years back. And what's the political? We hear about St. Clair County, all the corruption. What's going on? And we've got a great listening audience in Monroe and Randolph County. What's going on? Bad. We don't want to hear the good stuff about Monroe County because nobody wants to hear the good crap. We want to hear the bad crap. Give us some bad crap on Monroe County.
Well, that's why I moved down there, because there was no bad crap on Monroe County. It was all up here.
Well, now it's all bad because you tell the people in Monroe County they better be decent with me or I'll move back to Monroe County and their property values will go down 75%. So you tell them they better be nice to me.
Yeah, there's a certain section of Valmeyer that you used to live in they can't give away, but that's beside the point. You know?
I think it's contaminated, right?
Yeah, but with what we don't know. No, it's we're fortunate down there. We've got the Democratic Party, the Republican Party. We don't see any of the corruption that you guys see up here yet, let me say that. But as more and more people from this area move to that area, we may start seeing some okey-doke stuff. You know, they do it to each other inside the parties, but you don't see, a lot of outside influence. With the exception of this 58th race, which is 58th senatorial race, which is shaking out to be quite a thing.
To replace Senator Luchtefeld.
Yeah,
right.
You've got Paul Schempp, who just had a fundraiser last night. And he appears to be the party choice out of Springfield. And then you have Cherie Langenstein out of Murfreesboro, who appears not to be the party's choice, but she's still in the race. And it looks like it's going to go to primary. We thought she might drop out, but I don't think she's going to.
She's not going to?
Nah, she's got the petitions, the signatures to get on the ballot. So, in that, let me say this about that race. The Democrats apparently are going to run Sheila Simon, and that's almost a gimme for the Republicans, but I understand there's an October surprise probably going to come on that.
No, I told you. Yeah, we talked about that. Here's what I'm predicting if things don't get any better. Sheila Simon will be the Democratic candidate in the 58th state senatorial district to replace Senator Luchtefeld, who I think's done a great job. But having said that, they know that Sheila Simon cannot beat. Sheila Simon couldn't beat a dead rat underneath a rock. Sheila Simon couldn't do it. The short-haired, and you know what you see, most of the women are, well, I won't even go there. But anyway, Sheila Simon cannot win. So I hear from good sources in Springfield, if Schimpf gets the nod, Sheila Simon will get the nod as the Democrat. She will give up her position running for state senator because the Attorney General, Lisa Madigan, at the behest of her father probably, is going to give her a big job in the Attorney General's office, which will leave that open for the Democratic side. And they tell me that they've been touting, and I say this with all due respect to Jerry Costello II, young Jerry Costello. He's done a decent job down there, but they believe he's the only one that can win that spot for a Democrat. So if things get worse, you may see Jerry Costello being caucused in their caucus in June. Sheila Simon will leave, so it'll be Jerry Costello against Schimpf, and I think that'll be one hell of a race. What do you think?
I'm hearing the exact same thing, but I'm not hearing it out of Springfield. My sources are coming out of Chicago are telling me that.
Yeah. Well, if Madigan's in Chicago, then it's out of Chicago.
What I'm saying is that this isn't something that you and I've dreamed up between each other.
No. This is serious talk.
This is serious stuff. We're hearing it. So and I think that probably Schimpf's camp is very much aware that there might be an October surprise coming on this because he's campaigning really, really hard. He really is out there. And Langenstein is down south. So, the situation is such. Let me backtrack just a little bit. On Monday, I went up for something to do. I went up to Springfield for a quick road trip and went to the Donald Trump.
Huge, really huge.
Yeah, it was big.
I wanted to say that for Carl did because he's saying.
I know.
Just tremendous.
Yeah, true.
It was they had it at the Prairie Convention Center, Capitol Convention Center, and it set the record. We got in there about an hour early, and 40 minutes before he showed up, it was wall to wall, and they were standing up in the cheap seats in the nosebleed section. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Plus the press coverage, you think 4 or 5, 10 cameras. There was 35 cameras there and all kinds of media print reporters and whatever. But the thing that surprised me was the number of young kids that were there, 26, 25, that were, as Carl and I were talking earlier, had super, super energy. The house was just electric. And, of course, Trump came out and did his Donald Trump thing, and they really responded to it. They really, really responded to it. And it was cute because there were 5 young girls down there from the Bernie Sanders group that were pretty close to the stage that were yelling, feel the burn, for Bernie Sanders, holding up Bernie signs. He looked down and just said, get out of here. And they turned around and left. Yeah. I mean, they didn't get escorted out. They just turned around and left. And I'm kind of like, was that a fix? Was that a plan? You never know the way these, because he's so theatrical anyway.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is that Donald Trump, Ben Carson, some of these people from the outside, they're hitting a resounding bell because people in the Republican Party nationally and even state are tired of being dictated to by the powers that be that have gone in there and held these jobs forever and ever and ever. You reelect them, they tell you something different. You reelect them, they tell you something different. You reelect them again, they tell you something different. You look back at the very beginning, it's the same thing they've always been doing.
Yeah.
And that caught up to Boehner. So that's what happened to him. So I don't know how this is going to shake out with Trump and Carson, even though they're leading in the polls. But it'll be interesting because you can flat bet the Republican establishment you can see it now. We're notorious for snatching defeat from victory. Yeah, we attack our own candidates. Now the Democrats do it too.
They eat their own.
But the Democrats tend to do it.
Hey, it's a family show, Carl Officer. Don't be talking like that.
With the exception of up here, the Democrats tend to fight in-house. You don't hear about it a lot, but they fight. Republicans fight more in the open. So when we have these primaries where we have 30 people in a primary, not in a primary, but in the debates, and they this year's kind of a little milder than most years. They attack each other and beat up on each other, and Hillary doesn't have to do a thing. If she's going to be the candidate, provided she doesn't get indicted first, quote, you never know. Now I thought I saw a Drudge report this morning. I just took a glance at it that said something about Republicans in a panic, thinking about drafting Romney. I don't know where they're coming up with that at.
That's
some of the what do you call it? The establishment folks wishful thinking. You know, because they're not seeing Jeb moving over 6 or 7%, and they just can't for the life of them figure out how Dr. Carson and Mr. Trump are well over 25, 27% every time they do a poll. Yeah. They just can't figure this thing out.
Well, you know why they can, and we've only got about another minute. They can figure it out because people are tired of these rotten bastard, no-count, stinky, greasy, political, parasitical punks that we call politicians. Carson's by far not a politician. Trump's not a politician. And they said, hey, Romanek, you sound like Trump. You're going crazy. I've been going crazy 6 years. He's been going crazy 6 months. I tell you and tell all the people, let's get these politicians out. Let's put some crazy son of a bitch like me. Carl's not crazy, but people like him. Let's get normal people. Let's don't get these bastards that have been eating at the political trough for 30, 40 years because they don't give a damn. Put me in if I screw up, kick my ass out. That's what the election's about.
Well, and let's get the lobbyists out, too. Let's get rid of them and do whatever.
You mean the bribers?
Well, exactly. I mean, Trump does have a point. He's using his own money. The PACs aren't giving him any money. Therefore, he doesn't owe anybody anything. And me personally, I want, and I'm not, going out here for Donald Trump or anybody. I'm just saying I want somebody that knows economics, okay, that knows business, because that's how you got to run the United States government. You can't spend more money than you have. You can't continue to print money. It's going to be problematic. I mean, they've tried it for, 14, 15 years in Springfield. Look how well that's worked out.
Mike Madigan has been in charge of the Illinois General Assembly for well over 20 years, and you and I both know that. For him to blame Governor Rauner, who hasn't been there 8 months, is absolutely ludicrous. When I look at, and you look at all the problems, and I've said this before, one of the reasons I like Bob, he never lied to me. I've never known him to lie. He's crazy, but never known him to lie.
Thank you very much.
The other thing is that, a guy that came up from the bootstraps. This guy grew up in the projects in East St. Louis. And now he is not asking somebody for some money. I know two things. He will never go to Springfield and sell out anybody at all. They won't be able to buy him out. They won't be able to scare him out. And that's one of the reasons I'm voting for it.
Well, I absolutely couldn't agree with you more on that. And by the way, I'll offer to be your bodyguard.
Well, I need a bodyguard. Listen, guys, we got to go.
Well, at least I can carry a gun.
Well, you smart ass. Hey, this. I need a bodyguard and a mental health expert. Hey, listen, guys, I appreciate you. Mayor Carl Officer, as always, co-chaired the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition. The Frito Coalition.
There you go.
Come on, Greg, we got about a second.
Okay, real quick. Monroe County, Republican Party. We've got great candidates. We're going to do to them what we did to them the last time. Janine, take notice. We're coming. She's the head of the Democrats.
Oh, she's the head of the Democrats. Okay, guys, Greg Musgrave, Monroe County, thank you very much. Hey, listen, we got to go. Hopefully everyone will friends and enemies, political friends, political enemies, have a safe weekend. Enjoy your families, enjoy your friends, enjoy life, because that's what it's about. Because we get up in the morning, Monday through Friday, and we're going to fight, and we're going to continue to fight. But in the meantime, there's a lot bigger things than politics, and that's living a good life for you and your family. But you're not going to be able to do that until you get rid of the barricades that are in your way, and those barricades are the rotten bastard, sleazy, greasy, no-count, good-for-nothing, low-life, son of a bitchin' political, parasitical punks that we call politicians. And I want to apologize to the punks because they're not as bad as the politicians. But listen, have a good weekend. This crazy son of a bitch, unless somebody kills me, I'll see you on Monday. This is Bob Romanek. The Grim Reaper of radio. And you're listening to, or had been listening to, the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, Insane Broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio. And we are, as always, very proud to be the Patriot. We'll see you on Monday, same time, same place. I don't want to waste your time today. I got to go. But you know what we got to do. We got to get together, stay together. We got to destroy. We got to expose. We got to exterminate. We got to be like the pesticide people. We got to exterminate these roaches, these bugs, once and for all, to get rid of this political culture of corruption. Exterminate them politically, of course. And I want to apologize to the roaches right here on the dark side.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha. They're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha. To the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time. And I'll be happy to see those nice young men in their clean white coats. And they're coming to take me away, ha-ha.
The Patriot.
Your First Amendment and all-American station. A division of Insane Broadcasting. Renegade Radio.